Hey, what's up you guys? It's Miles. So about 9 months ago, no, I did not conceive the second coming of Jesus, but I did go see a gender therapist. A gender therapist is a human that specializes in talking to other humans about gender expression, identity, dysphoria. So last year I met up with Aaron McKenna. He's the executive director at the Los Angeles Gender Center, and we talked all about gender therapy, hopefully to help you guys out, while playing with puppies. Cause you know, animals are therapeutic, and we're talking about therapy. And that's a very clever lie I got to tell someone, and it worked, it really did. I got to hang out with puppies all day because I said that. I'm no hero. So with that said, this video was filmed last year, so my voice is a bit higher. My face is a little more prepubescent, but I think it's good information nonetheless, so hopefully you guys enjoy. Okay, that's all Miles from the future had to say. I love you, bye!
Aiden, hello!
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming into my pen.
Absolutely, thanks for having me in your pen.
Okay, so what do you identify as?
Transgender queer man who happens to be married to a straight cisgender woman.
When did you come out?
So I first came out as a lesbian when I was 15. I came out as trans when I was 30. In fact, I just had my 10-year, I don't call it a man-anniversary anymore, but 10 years of testosterone goodness.
I'm 2 months on T now, and I came out literally beginning of this year.
Yeah, you're a newbie. We call you a baby.
I'm a fresh one.
Yeah.
So you are a gender therapist?
Yeah.
How did you fall into doing that?
I think that I fell into it specifically around gender work because of my own gendered experience.
What are the ages of the humans that you've seen that have been going to gender therapy?
My personal practice is 13 all the way till I have folks up in their 80s.
Like, how do you find a gender therapist?
I think a lot of people depend upon their community. Like, hey friend, do you know of anyone? Who did you go see? That person's like, this person was amazing, go see this person. So word of mouth still tends to be a very powerful tool used within LGBTQ plus communities, and I think really specifically within the trans and gender non-conforming or non-binary community.
How would you say that like a young teen should navigate telling their parents, I want to see a gender therapist, I want to talk openly about who I am and try to figure this out?
Being able to say, you know, person, parent, caregiver, I have a lot happening, and I just being able to have a space that like help me sort of figure out what's what and what's next and what do I not want can be really beneficial. And I have clients who are like, I don't think I need to transition. I'm like, that's fantastic. And so sometimes working through false ideas and false pretenses about what therapy is, especially therapy that's sort of coined as gender therapy.
So who is gender therapy for? Is it for the people that already know who they are? Is it people that are questioning? What if, you know, you haven't told a soul?
I think it's for anyone that is having something happening with their gender. And maybe the most descriptive way they can say it is like, something's happening with my gender. Because not everyone has the language, not everyone has clarity. And then we have something and we only talk to ourselves, so we're only having an internal dialogue. We're very rarely propping ourselves up. And so it can be beneficial to have some place to go and to say, like, these are the things I'm feeling, these are the things that I'm thinking, and to have a response that's not oppressive.
When I was in the beginning of my journey, I think me, along with like the rest of the world, are very afraid of identifying as something, and then in the future, that fear of being like, what if it changes?
Yeah. What is also universally true is that we can't actually know how we feel about something until we're there. And so helping people relieve themselves from like, but I'm so nervous about blah, 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 and it's like, we'll totally figure out when we're there.
So me seeing a gender therapist, you know, I'm talking about taking hormones, I'm talking about the possibility of surgeries, but that's all in my journey. There's no right way to transition.
No, definitely not. And there's some folks who want to take testosterone or estrogen, but don't want to have any surgeries. There's a lot of folks who want to have surgery but no hormones. It's like Mr. Potato Head, right? It's like, I would like a little of that, but I definitely don't want that.
Yeah.
And being able to bear witness to some of those journeys and those conversations are absolutely amazing.
What are some of your like most asked questions that you get as a gender therapist?
It depends on who's asking. I see a lot of folks whose parents are involved still. So the question parents most often ask, how can my kid possibly know their gender? Are they sure? What if it's a phase? It tends to be more based in maybe fear or uncertainty because they love their kid, right? And when you love somebody and there's something happening, it can be easy to get nervous or scared.
Yeah.
My wife is a pediatrician and adolescent medicine specialist, and so all of her patients are trans folks, young up to 2 to 25. And parents will sometimes say, who's gonna love my kid? No one's gonna love, you know, my kid. And it's so funny because a lot of those parents don't know that she's married to a trans guy. And so it's so classic. She's like, well, you know, maybe a doctor might love your kid. And so it's weird how something like that parents all of a sudden we'll find this new level of hope. And then most common from my actual clients, it depends upon where they are in the process. Like in the first couple of years of transition, there's a lot of, when will this happen? You know, really organized around the physicality. Or it can be more practical things of like, how do I come out at school? How do I negotiate dating and relationships? How do I, you know, advocate for myself with teachers to use the right name and pronouns? So it tends to be really practical things for a lot of my clients who's in that younger demographic. At the end of the day, I mean, it sounds like you can resonate with this, is that a lot of young folks coming out or exploring their gender sort of struggle, either, or they fear for they're gonna struggle so they don't say anything, and then their parents are like, I got you, right? Which is the best case scenario. But there's a lot of like internalizing and not talking, and that's the value I think of this and like social media and online venues. Yeah. When I transitioned, there was no one in my town that I knew of that was trans. And so I was like doing it all on my own, and I found like answers to questions because my mental health provider that I was seeing didn't know. Yeah. And so I was like going on YouTube, like what is happening right now? And somebody who was further into transition was like, oh, don't worry about it. It's menopause and puberty. And I was like, this is hell. This is miserable. Yeah. How long is this gonna last? Yeah. And so that online community can be so beneficial for folks who maybe have a harder time connecting with in-person communities. It's lifesavers.
You know, I thought like I'd take testosterone and then I'll be happy. And it's like I'm the happiest I literally have ever been. Like every day I'm happier than I was the day before. Yeah. Because I feel like I'm getting closer to just who I am. But I'm not where I want to be yet. And it's weird because the moment I start taking testosterone, I can't watch my old videos, like any pictures of me. I'm like, this is like freaking me out. And it's like, oh, I don't feel fully good, but I will in the future, so that's fine.
Most of us need support the first 2 years of transition, because that's when things are like, this is different, what's happening? Like, I don't like how this person interacts with me, and sometimes people aren't connected at that time, which really is the most delicate time for folks.
Yeah, I think with like hormone replacement therapy, I heard a lot about the physical changes, and this is gonna change, your voice is gonna get deeper, and you'll be able to pass, and then it's like, there's so many mental and like emotional changes. You know, it's definitely like, you know, seeing a gender therapist and just talking to anyone just openly about it is so crucial. So what advice would you give to young ones out there right now that want to open the conversation to going to see a gender therapist?
Finding an adult, like a safe person, it doesn't have to be your parents. It can be your friend's parents. It can be a school counselor. It can be somebody even within your faith community if that's the community that you're occupying. If you can't find that, contact the closest LGBT center and ask them to help in your search and to vet a therapist for you.
My son. Thank you.
Miles has good manners, and that's what matters. Miles!
Triggered.